Good morning, everyone. How are you? How are you? Good to see you. It is Friday, and here we're going to let everyone else in Periscope and Facebook Live. Hey, Shauna. Good to see you. Are you kidding me? H Man. Julie, good to see you. Good morning. If you will, please invite your followers. That would be great. Be very good. Happy Cafe Friday, everybody. Good to see you. Homeschool. Hey, Mike. Happy Cafe Friday to you, everybody on Facebook Live and on Periscope as well. How is everybody? Biz Tech, good to see you. Amanda, hello, hello. How are you? Thank God it's Friday. I know. Whew, my gosh. Seemed like the longest week ever. Why, thank you. Happy Cafe Friday, everyone. Yes, yes, yes. It's my favorite day. Marlene, good to see you. Hey, Tillman, good to see you. I know, Mike, you're there all by yourself first. Wow, wasn't yesterday a busy, busy, busy day? Hey, Jamie, good to see you. Welcome. I know. I always do. But it's not for the reasons that you're thinking. Mine too, but have to work tomorrow. Oh, Amanda, no. Tell them that it's Cafe Face Saturday and you can't do it. They'll understand. Tell them that you're on a winning team and you have to do something. Good morning. Is it Ruby or Robbie? I can't see. They have made everything on Periscope very small. I've even gone in and changed it, and now it's like Robin. Okay, great. Thank you. It's so small and it's so light now. I don't know what they did. Comey choked on Cafefe. Yes, he did, didn't he? I mean, come on. How bad was that? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. The font is small. Yes, and it even if you increase it, it's still extremely small. So I don't know what they did. Maybe it has something to do with the bandwidth. I have no idea. But it certainly isn't good enough for people to read, I can tell you. Hey, Andy, good to see you. Please swipe and invite if you will. Swipe and invite. Swipe and share. Everybody on YouTube, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up on your way out. That would be Underbar. Thank you, thank you. Covfefe made me. You know, Amanda, Covfefe is one of those things that just you just want to have more of, right? Because we had it was a Covfefe moment yesterday with Comey. Now I did come on yesterday after the after Comey's testimony and did talk a lot about Comey yesterday. So I don't know if you anybody was able to see that. Hey, Mathis Mark. Anybody want to talk about Comey a little bit before we move on to other things in the news, or you just want to go on to the other news? I know, Shauna, you missed it. You were out there fighting the floodwaters of Florida. You got to hear some. Okay, perfect. Yeah. Comey, all in all, Comey indicted himself. Hey, Monique, good to see you. Comey was, I don't know. He was you could see that 6'8" little boy coming out in a really bad way. Will he be charged? I don't know. Hey Dawn, good to see you. Yeah, I know. The thing of it is, he gave privileged information. The privileged conversation that he had, a private conversation with the president, and he gave that to his colleague or a friend of his in the Columbia Law School and asked him to leak it to the media. So there's not really a crime in that unless something in there was, let's say, maybe classified information or something of that nature. But, you know, again, the whole thing with him when they were asking him about obstruction of justice, and he's sitting there saying, well, you know, I know, asked him to leak it. And the law school professor went ahead and did it, which was crazy. Hey, Teresa, good to see you. Yeah, I mean, when they asked him about obstruction of justice, he acted like, he had no obligation whatsoever to figure out if there was an obstruction of justice, which with 18 USC 4, he has every obligation. Well, Andy, you may want to go check it out on Gateway Pundit. They have listed 9 leaks out of 38, and they said that it goes back to Comey. And so there's a whole list of them, and I don't have all of the lists, but it's things that we've heard. So go to Gateway Pundit. Hey, Karen, good to see you. Gateway Pundit, 9 out of 38 leaks they say are attributed to Comey. And it's amazing because, here's this man, hey, Douglas, that is supposed to be um, the FBI director, one of the most powerful positions, a man that you want to make sure that he's ready for the job. Yes, dying, Shauna. Can you believe that? Hey, McPherson. Yeah, and so here's this guy, hey, Carmen, who's saying, I just was really, I don't know, scared. He didn't say scared, but that was the kind of the what you got. I mean, if you can't tell the president of the United States that I think this conversation is inappropriate, we can't have it, sir, and just to protect you and to protect me, we're going to end this conversation. If you can't say that, then you shouldn't be FBI director, period. Scary, he was in the it was in charge. I know. And you know what? He should have been fired. He should have also been fired for leaking that information. And guess what? He was fired. So he should have been. Wow, that's really weird, Shauna. Do you have Android or iPhone? That's kind of odd. So I don't know if anybody watched last night. Did anybody get to see Hannity? Hannity had like 2 hours of people coming on and talking about Comey, and Hannity was doing much like what I did yesterday. It's hard to um, talk about Comey without being sarcastic. I mean, he was, hey Marie, good to see you. He was just he was just a little unprofessional child yesterday. Hey, hello, Bonsai, good to see you. And it was amazing. I'm doing great. How are you? I think one of the things. Oh wow! You know what, Teresa? You can go back to YouTube and look it up. It'll be on there on YouTube. Well, I think it's good to see you again too. So you may want to go check it out. It was really worth it. They had Sarah Carter on. Sarah Carter, I really like her work. She really likes to get to the truth. Hey Amy, hey Patrick. And she was on there last night, and one of the things that she said was very interesting, and that is that there's going to be additional information coming out soon, information that they're working on that will link Comey back to Lynch and a number of conversations. That's good. Glad you talked to a nice girl. So that should be interesting to see what the conversations that they have with Lynch. And as you know, when you listened to Comey yesterday, he was saying that, Lynch told him, don't call it an investigation about Hillary Clinton, call it a matter. And so he called it a matter. I know. Sarah Carter is going to drop the deep state, Shauna said. It sure looks that way, Shauna. She's really, really good, and she's in Washington, D.C., probably 2 blocks away from the White House, and doing a great job. Hey, Jennifer, good morning. So she look for her to have more stuff coming out. Comey's inconsistent. He leaked the letter before Trump talked about the tapes. Yeah. Hey, Bill, good to see you. Enclosed myself in the system. I don't think so, but I don't know what you mean by that. Good morning. Good to see you. Good morning. Good morning, Beck. Hello, Janet. It's your first time on Periscope. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. AG covered for Hillary. You mean Lynch? Yep. Barricaded by the walls of truth, enclosed in lies. Oh, you're so funny. Have a good Friday, though. Um, yeah, so, we're going to find out more and more. And I know, such a sweet, sweet day. It was pure vindication. I mean, hey, Kelly, how are you? Trump's attorney came out and said, here we go, 3 times. Uh, President was told that he was not being investigated in connection with Russia, and Comey couldn't tell anybody that way. I know. And Shauna said poor Comey startled himself awake on a Monday evening and guilty. Like, oh, really? If there are tapes out there, I've got to get them out to the public. I know. Tired of winning with severe success fatigue syndrome, someone said. Trump telling the truth all along. As usual, Karen. As usual. Welcome, Sport 151. It's your first day on Periscope. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Sport 151. Comey isn't no homie, Marie said. No, Comey, we really found out about Comey that he is pretty much what they call a baby man. Isn't that what they call the CNN people called Trump recently? That he was a man baby. That's what Reza Aslan called him. So I guess Comey is a man baby, man baby as well. So I think that's funny. It's kind of like their own words and their own actions are coming back on them, which we knew that it would because you can only lie for so long until it starts coming back on you. Hey, Queen Ladybug Star, how are you? That's Tina, right? I'm thinking, but it's Tina. I hope. Yes, he's such a weenie. I know. Reza Aslan also ate a human brain. I know. Like, why? Why did he do that? Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Yes. Okay, good. I wanted to make sure. Oh, time for work. No, Andy, no, don't go. Thanks for dropping in, Andy. Hope you come back. It's Red Friday. By wearing red, we are voicing our love for God, country, and our veterans that are deployed. So don't forget to wear red today. I wore red yesterday. It's like the only piece of red that I have. And so I'm on Black Friday, I guess. Good for the sales. Yeah, the head of the FBI can't tell the president that he is a wimp. And obviously, he couldn't even tell the AG Lynch. What are you talking about? We're talking about the news. I'm trying to be Marlene, but if everybody goes away for a while, it's hard to remember. And police and fire, what is that about, Tillman? Got your red Trump hat on. Yahoo! Hey, Judy, welcome. Good to see you on this Friday. Trump allowed this to happen this way because he knew the truth and knew Comey would bring the lies. Yes, to be thankful. Oh, absolutely, Tillman. Bring attention to others. Yes. Why did Comey not explain to a non-politician about protocol? Because he doesn't have to. He was FBI. And if you notice, good to see you too, Judy. If you've noticed, yeah, Beck said I was a hoot yesterday. You'll have if you missed that one yesterday. I was really on a sarcastic roll about Comey because I just couldn't take it. I mean, after reading his written testimony, which I'm telling you is a script for either his upcoming book or a romance novel. Um, on June 17, National Wear Red Day in honor of our president. Everybody remember that? I know I was torqued yesterday. I was just letting him have it. I mean, with the information, your husband was laughing too. I'm glad you enjoyed that. I just couldn't hold back. I mean, honestly, anybody putting in their written testimony about the grandfather clock by the door and getting so detailed, but leaving out important things that he brought up later in oral testimony was just a little bit too much. Comey never answered this. What's the difference between a private phone call and being alone in a room? He doesn't know. He'll use it to save his own butt. And that's exactly what he wanted to do. He wanted to take that information that he wrote down because he had to remember everything. He wanted to take that information, he wanted to hold on to it, and he wanted to use it against the president somewhere down the line. I know that clock. That clock. We need to find out more about that grandfather clock. Something is connected to that grandfather clock. Are they done with Comey? I think the United States is done with Comey. And if I were Comey, if they weren't done with me, I wouldn't come back. Now's the time for Comey to go out and get a really good attorney because he's done himself in. Uh, Seeking a romance, Comey should have gone to dinner with his wife. I know, you know, Comey should have just said, President, I've got to go to dinner tonight with my wife, and you're the president. I know that, but I'm just going to go ahead and break the date with you instead of my wife, because he didn't want to be alone with him. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell and click the thumbs up button, please, everybody on YouTube. I'm going to be an American this weekend and relax and enjoy our great country. I know, Tina, but you know what? Man, we don't have time to sit down. We need to keep going. Hey, Robin. He did choose poorly, Robin. He really did. He really did. And you know what he should have said? He should have said, Mr. President, if you want my wife and children to be there at dinner too, I'll make sure they're there tonight. Get them there. Oh, stand up and enjoy the week. Yeah, exactly, Nancy. If Comey did not want to be alone with POTUS, why take those phone calls? Because you know why, Shauna? We all know why. He wanted to gather information to use against him somewhere down the line. I'm trusting God and the people he has placed to do what needs to be done, Tina said. Absolutely, Tina. For sure. God's in control of all this. There were so many leaks, but not one leak that President Trump wasn't under investigation. Exactly. Make it a couple's dinner. I know, Karen. If you're afraid to be alone with him, bring your wife. The First Lady probably wasn't there because she's probably still down in Mar-a-Lago. I know. Hillary throws bottles at the staff, and Trump asked them instead to be loyal, which Trump is saying he never asked Comey to be loyal, probably because he knew Comey didn't know what it was. Comey really threw Lynch under the bus. Yeah. Well, he's gonna be thrown underneath that bus with her pretty soon, it looks like. I know he's afraid of his own shadow. He really is. Gosh, I mean, I didn't want to be alone with him. And I'm serious. If you go back and you read the testimony about him at dinner, it sounds like I'm just it's let me see if I can find it. Oh, here we go. I didn't move, speak, or change my facial expression in any way during the awkward silence that followed. We simply looked at each other in silence. I really, really was waiting for somebody to say, and we leaned in, or he leaned in and kissed me. I mean, that seriously, that should have been next, because that's part of that romance novel he's writing. Hey, Monique, the hearing was great. Thank you. I'm glad you liked the article. What FBI director says if I was stronger, maybe I know. And Feinstein, man, she was like, "Oh my gosh, you're just a strong big man. You're 6'8", you're so strong." I mean, I couldn't believe her. He's a man child. I know. Oh, it was embarrassing to watch that hearing yesterday and watch the Democrats gloating all over him and saying, what a strong man that he was, and all this other thing, but how he was so intimidated by the Oval Office. And in these same people, what was it, right before the election? Oh, he's crap, he's a liar, he needs to go. And yesterday he was just the best guy that ever walked the face of the planet. I mean, it was such a change. I know it seemed like the Dems were questioning Obama. Well, they should have been. Feinstein needs to resign, and Kamala needs a tranquilizer. Yeah, Kamala Harris, her statement. I mean, she's nasty, and it was embarrassing for her to equate that statement about hope. Where supposedly Comey was told by the president, "I hope you can let the Flynn thing go." Kamala Harris, in all of her Kamala Harris wisdom, came out and said, "Well, it's like a robber who has a gun to your head. I don't think hope at that point would be the word that you'd be putting all your hopes in." It's like, excuse me? You're talking about somebody putting a gun to your head as a robber, and then you're equating that with President Trump saying, "I hope you can let the Flynn thing go." Are you crazy? But did you notice I know you need a Kamala dictionary. She allowed Comey to speak without interruption, whereas when she was talking to the head of the DHS, she was very rude to him, interrupted everything he said, and he basically had to get to the point to say, "If you'd let me answer the question." And that's when it's like, "Oh, you spoke to the Queen in that manner? How dare you?" I'm telling you, look for that woman. She's going to want to run for president in 2020. It doesn't support a drama. Yeah, and then what did everybody think? Jennifer is kind of talking about McCain over there, but McCain was just kind of, I don't know. It looked like somebody at the last minute grabbed him and said, you have to come in there and you have to ask at least one question, and he begrudgingly went. That's what it looked like to me. Yeah, I noticed that, Shauna. Shauna said, "Did you notice that Comey emphasized the word content when talking about getting that memo's content out to the public? That was interesting." But Shauna, he's so detail oriented, right down to the very last detail, that I could see him obsessing over it. Well, it wasn't really the memo; it was just the content of the memo. It wasn't just the door; it was the door next to the grandfather clock. I mean, there's something with that guy. The first time I ever saw him, I just didn't like him. Something too creepy about him, and now I know why. And I think, again, we should have the same problems, and I don't know that anybody's going to say anything about it. But the fact that Mueller or whatever you want to call him talked to Comey, basically talked to him before his entire hearing, so they've corroborated together. I find that so troubling. Again, I find it troubling that Mueller is even there. And I find it troubling that now he's communicating with Comey about his testimony prior to him giving that testimony. And and we have nothing concerning President Trump. Here's the FBI who is has investigated and done all of this. There's nothing about obstruction of justice. And why do we need a special prosecutor? According to Comey, I wanted to make sure we got a special prosecutor after I was fired, and this is the way he went about doing it. Once he was fired, here comes the special prosecutor because he was saying, well, this is what to stop or interfere in the Russian investigation in some way because he was fired. Why did he say that? Well, nobody wants to admit that they were fired because they weren't doing their job well. And when I always wondered what Trump thought, why did he call him a nut job? It's becoming more clear why he said that. And so I think you have to just. Comey is writing his own book. It's all made up. I know, Robert. Comey was too confident with Mueller. Well, because they're brothers in arms, Patrick. They've known each other for a long time. They served together under Obama. Yep. Nobody's come forward to support Comey after this hearing, and he is a leaker. How dramatic. The Dems were gloating, breaking open the bottles of champagne. McCain did well, shocked that he even spoke. But Betty's daughter, Megan, insisted he say something. She can't stand the Dems. I know. Shauna said President Trump forgot to say sleazy and add that on to nut job. We know that Comey is the cork in the swamp now. Yeah, but like I said, go check out that Gateway Pundit article that says that Comey was responsible for 9 out of 38 leaks. Is McCain on the committee? Apparently so, Shauna. I mean, you couldn't really tell by the question that he asked yesterday, but yeah. And McCain kept getting Comey's name confused with Trump, and it confused Comey, but Comey was already confused. Yeah, he is, Shauna. It was almost like he was forced to ask something yesterday. It wasn't. I don't know. He did a good job at what he was doing, but it just seemed forced. No, and again, Comey was saying, well, I never wrote down anything when I was talking to President Obama or President Bush, but then we find out he only had maybe one or two meetings at most with those people. And McCain in body and mind gone a long time, Patrick said. Too funny, yeah. And I don't know, I know we're talking about Comey right now, but did you hear that Trey Gowdy now has been selected for the chairperson for the House Oversight Committee? He's going to be replacing Jason Chavez, and he's going to be installed on Tuesday. With all the news, I wasn't sure that everybody had heard all that. I know. It's going to be great having him in there. Yes. Gowdy has taken Chavet's seat. All good news. It just keeps on coming. Keeps on coming. Win win, maga maga, kafefe. What can we say? Hope he gets something done. I do too, Robin. I mean, I think under this president, he has a better shot of getting things done than under, President Obama, who wouldn't want him to do anything. Yes, build the wall. Absolutely, get that wall done. I will, and all the winning. Okay, I've got to tell you something that you're not gonna like about President Trump, but I have to tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly. Lesson learned: fire all the old party appointees today when this could have been avoided. Yes, I agree with you, Tillman. It's Friday. Go in there, clean house, get rid of all of those people, and get new people in there. Get them in, get them out, get new people in. Because you can see after 8 years of corruption, the corruption is still going on. Yeah, I know. Jennifer says she remembers when Hillary Clinton's email said that fat son of a what wins will all going down, and that's when President Obama started sponsoring her for more and more. What's the scoop on the new FBI director, Ray? Hopefully he gets approved. Supposedly he's a really good guy, but Shauna, Paul Ryan came out yesterday and was saying, we need somebody who's going to be more independent. I think implying that he wasn't very independent because he represented Chris Christie in Bridgegate. Yeah, Comey and the FBI are under investigation. President Trump's trying to get something going in regards to that. They're starring about him having ties to Russia. Oh, really? Do you think Hillary has opened up that case of Jack Daniels by now? I don't. What, did she ever close it? I mean, hey Jennifer, good to see you. Ray is at least a change of pace from Comey. Yeah, I mean, looking at Christopher Ray, and I don't know too much more than what I told you about him. I honestly think that he's a person that could go into the White House and say, "Sir, we shouldn't have this conversation. I'm going to be leaving now." Comey, what people are saying is Comey wanted to keep his job. Yes, obviously, and Comey is a CYA person. Yes, yes, Shauna. But I guess they're trying to say, well, you represented a Republican, therefore you're pro-Republican. She owns stock in Jack Daniels. She's probably brewing it in her house by now. Notice Hillary wasn't very, vocal yesterday. I mean, she was out blaming everybody else. Fickle Comey. Comey is resentful little. Karen, he was very resentful. He didn't like the fact that he was fired when he was in LA. He didn't like the fact that, they basically did the firing when he was out of the office. He was in LA. He couldn't get back to Washington, D.C. to get anything. So I think that upset him. Okay, so yeah, I want to give you the Trump news that isn't so great, and then I think probably we should talk about this because I think we should decide whether or not we want to do something about this. Cully said Jack Daniels is in Hillary's IV bag. Don said have some vodka. He would have cried. Yes. Okay, so um, Donald Trump has, with the DACA people, right? The DACA, whatever you want to say. No, it's not about the Middle East. He's allowed in 125,000 illegals in 3 months to stay. So basically, what he's doing, about 17,275 initial quote unquote amnesty cards were issued for the DACA people, and 107,500 of them he renewed. And it surpasses Obama's 122,000 that he issued during that final quarter. And he's likely close to 200,000 right now. So, I think he's having a problem because he said it before. They're kind of, near to my heart type thing, and so I think he's having a problem with it, with those kids that came here by their parents and were brought here not because they voluntarily did it, but their parents brought them here. Yeah, I know, Nina. A lot of people don't like the DACA. I mean, they're still here illegally, and they don't like it. And a lot of those same kids are getting free tuition when the American citizens are not. So, I mean, you can look at it one or two ways. You know, but I don't know why he's surpassing what Obama did. That's not a good sign. Well, I mean, Julie, in a way, it is making them legal. Kids I can understand, but not adult men alone. DACA, those are those people that were basically brought here by their parents illegally, and they grew up here. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand why they're getting free tuition. I mean, you can argue the other way, like, well, yeah, their parents brought them here, wasn't their doing, and then you shouldn't make them leave, or whatever. People can argue that point, but then to turn around and give them free tuition over American citizens, I don't understand that. I mean, that just makes no sense. Why are they getting special treatment? There should be a way for them to earn their tuition, not be free. And well, I don't know how you earn their tuition by being like in the state of residency for 6 months or something like that. But you can't do that if you're here illegally. Yeah, I don't want the freebies. Yeah, that does suck, Shauna. College is not a right. Well, under Obama it was, Cully. Not fair to our children, right? DACA should have to perform civil services to pay back handouts. Uh, yeah, Nina said she had a friend that was deported at age 23 after living here his whole life. It's really difficult, but I think it's also important to understand this, that a lot of people that are here illegally, and I'm just going to use Mexico because I can't speak for other countries, but I can speak for the people in Mexico. Although they've been here 23 or 25 years or whatever and brought over here by their parents, it's not like they don't know anything about the culture or the life or anything else in in Mexico, for example, because a lot of times the people here and the parents who brought them here, the parents that are here illegally, they take their children and they go to Mexico for the summer, or they'll go to Mexico sometimes during the school year, just up and go. Yeah, Julie, I guess the part about legalizing them. I mean, what do you do with those people that have been here and have tried to go through the legal process? And do these people now DACA? Do they get in the front of the line? And then it's exactly what's happening. They are getting in the front of the line. No, I know it's not true all the time. I didn't say it was true, Nina. I'm just saying that a lot of them do that, and a lot of them understand both cultures. I worry about how the children we see on TV are indoctrinated into the evils found in the Quran. Yes. DACA doesn't bother me as much as refugees. At least DACA is assimilated. Well, that's not always true. So there again, you have some issues there. Maybe, there are also people who are here illegally committing crimes could be DACA people too. Yeah, I just think that you know I think that people, there's a process to come into the United States, and it should be we should obey the laws, and we've been too long not obeying the laws, and that's why we're in the position that we're in now. So I mean, they're going to have to do something about it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you're here homeschool, if you're here illegally. I don't know the path to legalization. I don't know that there is one for DACA. That's probably why they're getting the renewal of the cards. But I don't know why they can't apply for a green card or something of that nature that other people do. So, I mean, but I think that's going to be a real issue for him and something that he needs to work out. He did say in a campaign promise that he was not going to have these people stay here, but it seems like he's kind of changed his mind. maybe he can come up with a plan. Yeah, and they're going to have to do something. But but what happens is you're still the people that brought them here, the people who came here illegally to bring them here in the first place. They want to deport some of those people, and of course, nobody wants to see their parents go or whatever. So, that's where just a bigger compounding issue. Yeah, it's pretty hard to send them back. But, I mean, again, what do you do with the other people that are here illegally? Do you let them stay too? Do you let them move in front of everybody else who has been trying to go through the process and do it properly? To build a solar wall and charging Mexico to use it? Oh my gosh. I saw a little bit about that. Okay, great. Yeah, many may be elderly now. That's what Dim say. It's too hard. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the plan is. There's got to be some type of plan. Something's got to be worked out about it. A lot of people just don't like it. So I think for the most part, I really do think that the United States allows way too many people in. I mean, we can't we have a hard time providing for the people that we have now. Yeah, don't send them to California. We have everybody here. We have to make our decisions in this country. Not making them is also the reason we are in trouble. That's true, Arizona mom. It's true. Husband is a legal permanent U.S. resident and went through the process years ago. That's right, Teresa. And should other people should be in front of him? Yeah. And that's what Donald Trump said, that he does have a heart for them. He is compassionate, so he's trying, I think, to work it out. And I don't know what he's going to do about it. But again, there are some Americans that really don't like it. And there are some countries you're not allowed in the country in different countries for whatever reason. Why does America have to always allow everybody in? They will steal the copper wire out of the wall. I don't think so. We are a country of laws or not. Yeah, Keith, that's true. And we've been a long time not following the law. If we take immigrants, they should be from wealthy families so they can contribute to America. You know what, Patrick? A lot of countries do that. They only take people. You have to prove that you have the money to come in and make an improvement, to the country that you want to go into. And yet, when anybody tries to do that in the United States, that would be like, oh no, you can't do that. Other countries would just kick them out. We are lenient. That's true. It's absolutely true, Julie. Don said, gas the plane, toss them some nuts, and send them home. So let DACA join the military to earn their way and prove their loyalty. That's a good thing, Kim. Like Canada, right, Robert? And we'll seal our faith. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I think, a long time ago when you had immigrants coming here, we're faced with a different problem now than we used to be faced with. We're faced with people who might come into this country really to do us harm. Whereas a long time ago, you didn't have to worry about the dirty bombs and things like that. It's a different world. So I think you have to have a different way of vetting people, a different way of looking at people, and perhaps a different way of dealing with it. And it's not to say that any of the DACA people or any immigrants coming here fall into that category, but I think we just don't know these days. It's a different world. The horse is out of the barn, unfortunately. Shauna better hope that's not true. My husband's family came from England and went through the process to become Americans. Yes, exactly. And if you do it in one country, you should do it for all the countries. We sponsored family members and had to prove we could provide for them if they were hurt or lost their jobs. That's right, Teresa. Absolutely. And yet that's not what we're doing. And what's happening too is you have people here, and you have people like Kamala Harris who wants to have a sanctuary city or sanctuary state, and then you're putting a drain more and more and more on the system that is not going to be able to handle it. And Kamala Harris wants the federal government to pay for it anyway. She doesn't care that California is not cooperating with federal law. She just wants the money. It is unfair to the people that go by the law. That's absolutely true. Try to move to Caribbean island or Central America, must have income. Yes. Probably saying too much, I will get the boot. I know, Teresa. But like at New Zealand, I think New Zealand, you can only go there for like 5 years. You can't go there and stay, unless maybe there's certain provisions, certain people that they take, and nobody really talks about that. Shauna said, "This coming to this country, taking over a town, and making no-go zones is not assimilating. Period." And that's for people who, ISIS or not ISIS, but Islam. They follow Islam to the letter. Yeah, there are a lot of cultures. Um, Yeah, Shauna said, let's take Dearborn, Michigan, for example. They've run out of people. They have lived there all of their lives. Businesses had to shut down. Yeah, at that Dearborn, Michigan, we talked about it the other day, but just a little follow up on that. The guy who, they raided his house in Dearborn, Michigan, we heard that. He's accused of receiving Hezbollah military bomb making training. That's pretty serious. And he supposedly is a naturalized U.S. citizen. His name is Samar El Debek or Debek. I don't know which one you say. 37 years old. And he's alleged to have been a member of the Islamic Jihad organization responsible for planning, preparation, and execution of intelligence, counterintelligence, and terrorist activities outside of Lebanon. Allegedly, he was a member from 2007 to 2016. He allegedly traveled on missions for Hezbollah to Panama and Thailand. And he's charged with providing material support and resources to a foreign country. So that was the man in Dearborn, Michigan. Great, Barbara. I'm glad that your husband had surgery yesterday and all went well. That's really great. I know, Shauna. What mosque was he going to? I'm sure one right there in Dearborn, Michigan. Dearbornistan, yep. And when you have that issue, some people would say, well, that's okay. You let people in and they can take over an area if you want. But it changes the entire culture of the United States. And I guess people have to ask the question, are you okay with changing the whole culture? Jennifer is saying Mexico says they don't believe in borders, but yet they fail to tell you that there's a border between Mexico and Guatemala, the south border of Mexico. So it's like it's okay for some people to have borders and some people, meaning countries, not to have borders. So again, should everybody be okay with the culture of the United States changing? Wall off Michigan before you wall off California. We need intelligence to infiltrate these mosques. Yeah, maybe they're doing that now, Sean. I know under Obama they weren't, but we do need to know what's going on. There's a small town in San Diego city called El Cajon, and they had the Chaldeans that came there from Iraq, and most of the Chaldeans are Christians. I don't know if they all are, but that whole city now of El Cajon looks a lot different. It is, you can walk down the street, you can see people with burqas, and you can see people with, yeah, you've been to El Cajon. It's totally different, and people who are yelling out the window, doing that la la la. I can't do it, but whatever that type of thing. So it doesn't look like an American culture at all, and they move into neighborhoods together and kind of take over the neighborhood. They understand more how to work the system, and they start really kind of taking advantage of the system. And some people would say, well, that's okay. That's just the way it goes. Other people would say, you're turning El Cajon and places like Dearborn, Michigan into places that Americans don't recognize. Okay, Beck, have a great lunch with your husband. Have a good Friday and a good weekend. Happy Cafe Friday. Yeah, I mean it's offensive and but then people would say, but look, you've got things like what Chinatown in San Francisco, no big deal. Or different areas that are like that, no big deal. So I don't know. It depends upon, I guess, what happens to that city, that state. It can be a very big deal. I mean, I do think that there are little niches of every little town that have like a culture that goes on there that's not exactly the American culture. But what people will try to say is, yes, but that is the American culture. That's the new American culture, you know. So exactly, we don't have Chinese terrorists. A good point. Exactly, Robin. They're not trying to take over the country. Yep. It is scary to go into Chinatown at night. Yeah, but Chinese brought fireworks and stuff. It's fun. That's true, Robert. Really, what's the difference? We have Chinatown in every city. Chinatown is hardly a haven for terrorists. All true. All true. So I think that boy, I keep blocking that one user with that horrible name, and he keeps coming back the same name every day. I don't even know who would allow a name like that on Periscope or Twitter or anything else. That's really disgusting. Um, they're turning into gang neighborhoods. In other words, you cannot go into that neighborhood unless you want to risk your life. I know that it was really gross. I know, and he comes back with the same name. I don't know. I did block Marlene. I blocked him yesterday, and he came back with the same name again today. So I have no idea how he does that. I know that name should be reported. Yeah, I know Kim did away with that because what happens if I have that, then what they do is they report you and you're put in timeout. So I had to stop doing that because they were using it against us. Maybe he's a Periscope CEO. He must be. I don't know. Um, yeah, but I think that we'll have to just see what President Trump is going to do about this, if anything. And again, I know it's a subject that most people don't want to talk about, but I think it's a subject that we need to talk about. And it really isn't about any particular people or group, but it's about what is best for the United States. What should we do? I know, Bill, time out with the pacifiers. And I think as a culture, as a country, the United States needs to figure out do we want to continue to keep going down this path, or do we do something different? And if we know what it is that we want to do, let's figure it out and let's just do it. Let's enforce the laws and let's just do it. Do we need? Yeah, I think we do, Kim. Honestly, I think we do. Now, some other things that the Comey hearing kind of took up and we didn't talk about. Jeff Sessions ended the Obama era slush funds, which allowed companies to meet settlement burdens by giving money to groups that were neither victims nor parties in the case. You remember under Obama, if they found something they didn't like about a company and maybe the company had done some type of violation, they would tell them you have to pay money into. Typically, it was more of a left leaning organization that money would go into. So from now on, Sessions wants that money instead to go into the U.S. Treasury after the victim gets their settlement, which I think is really good. Before it was going to third party special interest groups or the political friends of Democrats. So this is a way to say, no, this is going to go back to the government, and we're not going to allow you to use that money to advance your own political party and agenda. The source of that, Dennis Michael Lynch, and it's probably you just go on Google it on the internet, you'll see. Why are they calling for impeachment? Because they always do. It's what the left is going to do from now on until 2020. And then the other day, Trump also presented his vision to rebuild America's infrastructure. $1 trillion plan to revamp the nation's infrastructure. He's going to accomplish this with $200 billion in tax breaks, which brings about a $1 trillion worth of construction over time. They want to impeach him the day after the election. They wanted to impeach him before he got elected. Believe it or not, there are more political positions than left or right. No, you're kidding me. They call for impeachment, then look for ways to make it happen. Yeah, especially people like Maxine Waters. Maxine Waters doesn't even know what the word impeachment means. She just knows she's supposed to say it. So she keeps saying it over and over. Someday somebody will probably tell her, no, this is something that happened to Clinton. Poor Maxine. I don't know. Maxine just, gosh, just go away. Really? You're kidding me. Graham, you're just saying things that are just unbelievable. Okay, we don't use that type of language in here. No, Pence isn't a dunce. The Democrats tried to do the same crap with Ronald Reagan, and he was one of the best presidents there ever was. Jennifer said, yes. Really? You're kidding me. You're just so full of information, Graham Belly. You had a long call. Nancy, who was it? Was it Maxine calling you? The earth is flat. It is. How did you know? Thanks for coming and sharing that with us. The trolls like to come in on Friday because they got nothing better to do. Somebody said politics and I wasn't sure what that was. You think Kamala Harris is the next Maxine Waters? Robert, no, not yet. Give her a couple more years. School's out. That's right, Tillman. Do they go to school? Soros pays a bonus on Friday. Could be. Could be. Getting ready to go out there and start making some trouble on the weekend. Getting revved up on it on Friday. That could be it. Another thing, I know they're just starting to wake up, Patrick. I know. Getting about lunchtime, so it's time to get up and get some lunch and then go back to sleep. Um, Also, President Trump is going to end the wants to end the birth control mandate of Obamacare. Remember the little sisters of the poor who were opposed to the mandate. The Supreme Court issued a unanimous compromise with them under Obama, but it really never happened. And so he wants to do away with that mandate and basically say that those companies, can ask for an exemption and not to have to do that. So, all good stuff coming from the president, really, except that one little thing that people have to work out. If the earth is flat, walk to the side and jump off. There you go, Jennifer. Good advice for that young lady in Periscope who said the earth was flat. President Trump is talking about infrastructure now, nothing new so far. Yeah, I think, that's what he wants to do, is what he's been talking about. And so he just has to keep it up. And we just have to see things start to really happen. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I think right now, President Trump, after yesterday's vindication, just needs to move forward. Quit worrying about what the left is saying. Dumping about the Gang of Eight. What was it, Nancy? Do you know if there will be a televised press conference today? I don't know. Comey talk. I know he did talk about the Gang of Eight. What were you going to say about it, Nancy? But anyway, I think he really just has to move forward and get things done. Donald Trump Jr. was on last night. He wants to take down the others. Probably Nancy. Comey was interesting too. I don't know what Comey's going to be doing, but it sounded like he was going to try to get a job someplace. He's like, oh well, I'm in between jobs. President of Romania. Comey wants to rat out the rest. Do you think more Republicans will stand behind the president now? No. No, because they're just Democrats in Republican clothing, most of them. The rhinos are. Yeah, I think Nancy, I think that Comey really is going to have his hands full, and he should be more worried about himself right now and about what he said and the legal implications that they have from yesterday. I don't know if anything will happen to it, but about it. But if Sarah Carter comes out and spills the beans about what he and Lynch were doing and more conversations that he was having with her, I think there might be some issues, that he needs to address. Bill said the Dow's going to get so high it's going to drop big time. Maybe it'll just keep going up. And even yesterday, the Dow just kept going up and up and up, and it's up again today. Oh, okay. So 2:45 today, Trump is going to have a press conference. I know Sarah Carter is great. God has a hand on those who seek the truth. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So today, I guess President Trump is going to give the press conference. That'll be good. I loved it yesterday when he was doing something after the Comey hearing, talking to a panel of people, and of course the media stands up. Hey, what about Comey? What about Comey this, Comey that? And Trump just absolutely ignored them. Yeah, that I don't know what that is, Cully. Like what he is possibly doing. 12:45 California time. Yeah, unfortunately, I will be in a live show. I don't know if you guys got the notice for the live show, especially you veterans. If you want to join the live show over on Facebook, just go to 11:45. Just go to SusanKnowles.com. There's going to be a live show today at 1 o'clock Eastern, and that's going to be with my co-host, Benjamin Krause, who is a disabled veteran and an attorney. We're going to be there taking your questions and comments. So, veterans, this is your opportunity. Find that article on SusanKnowles.com. Just scroll down. You'll see it for the show today. It's Veterans Voice of America. That's the Facebook page. If you just want to go over there and like that, that's where it's going to be at 1 o'clock Eastern. Trump is speaking about us. U.S. Department of Transportation. Yeah, we'll be there. Good, Don. Behave yourself, Don. Don't be asking crazy questions. Trump just had a funny moment where he looked at huge binders and made jokes. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you for being here. Yeah, I think this new show you'll really like. I mean, it gives the opportunity. Yeah, and Shauna has a link on her Twitter feed as well for today, but it gives veterans an opportunity to ask questions, and it also gives people who aren't veterans who want to know what's happening with veterans and to show your support to come there and be and participate in the show because there's a lot of information you're never going to get on the news. Not going to talk about what's happening with the veterans. So if you really want to be informed, come to that show. It's Veterans Voice of America page, or you can follow Shauna's link on Twitter or mine at SusanKnowles.com. Yeah, I think right now Trump's just kind of running, doing business. That's all. Thank you, Nancy. You're very welcome. The veterans have a special place in my heart. I'm from a family of veterans and know a lot of whistleblowers and a lot of veterans that I've spoken to about their issues. And let's see, no, ma'am, never is a grunt from a line of grunts. But the veterans issues are very important to me. I want to see things, go well. Ben Krause is awesome, Shauna. I've had him on as a guest before, and we decided to co-host a show together. So we'll do that today. So, did you see the reality winner in court? Oh, no, no, I didn't. Big Brother, how are you? No, I missed that thankfully, but I understand. Some of the things that she just kind of off the hook, off the chain. What did anything happen, Patrick, of importance? She's not getting bail. Surprise. She sympathized with Al Qaeda and wanted to move to the Middle East. Wow. I think they should let her move to the Middle East. I really do. The Veterans Choice got better as of April 20. All claims will be paid by the VA or TRICARE, which is great news, Bill. Really great news. I guess she's not as cute as she thinks she is. I know I heard her say something. She was going to play the cute card or something like that. She wanted to burn down the White House. I saw that too. She and Madonna. Did Madonna want to do that? Blow up the White House? If you don't know, Ben is a vet and an award winning veterans' rights attorney and journalist. Yeah, Madonna, remember, said she wanted to blow up the White House or was thinking about it. No bond for her, burning the White House comment. Yep. Plus, if she's a flight risk. You let her out, she's going to go to the Middle East. She speaks two Arabic languages. Yep. And that's what she was. She was a translator. I mean, which is amazing. I mean, it's pretty good. He is need to get Haney back on the show that he was now that he was vindicated. Yeah, I love Philip Haney. I can't wait for him to go back in the DHS. Probably it will be hard to get him back on the show now because he's probably really close to going back and working for President Trump. So I've had Filippini. If you haven't heard that show, go back and look for Filippini's show. That was an amazing show. What he had to say. He used to work for DHS, and he has a lot to say about what went on there, and it's pretty amazing. All right, you guys, thank you so much for coming. Please retweet this, if you will, on YouTube. If you'll give me a thumbs up and retweet it as well. Everybody on Facebook Live, if you will share it, that'd be great. Thank you so much for coming by. Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend. I might be back on. You just never know. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we'll talk to you soon. Hopefully to see you at 1 o'clock. Thank you, everybody on YouTube. Have a great day. Hope to see you at 1 o'clock over on the show, Veterans Voice of America. Take care.